To use reference angles to find other angles on the unit circle, we'll use our quadrant 1 angles. So let's just start with those. Pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, and our x and y values. So I'm just filling in the x and y values for those 3 standard angles in quadrant 1. And the way that we would use those as reference angles. So a reference angle which we denote as theta prime is an angle between 0 and pi over 2, or between 0 and 90 degrees, that we can use to determine what our triangle looks like in any of the other quadrants. So for example, if we wanted to find the sine and cosine of 4 pi over 3, that's going to be here in quadrant 3. Then our triangle is going to be this right triangle here. So you can think of it that way, or you can just say it's the pi over 3 angle in quadrant 3. So the pi over 3 angle in quadrant 3 will have the same sine and cosine, or the same x and y values. I should say cosine and sine, x and y, as pi over 3, except that we know that in quadrant 3, both of those values are negative. And so then you can find all 6 trig ratios just based on what we know about the cosine of 4 pi over 3 and the sine of 4 pi over 3. Use your identities to find the other 4 trig ratios based on that. And so one thing that's good about dealing in radians is if you're dealing with an angle that has 3 in the denominator, then pi over 3 is going to be your reference angle. If you're dealing with an angle, let's say theta is equal to 5 pi over 6, then that's the pi over 6 angle in quadrant 2. Okay, and where that comes from is, let me just draw another unit circle, just really quickly. If we have a theta here in quadrant 2, then this angle here is going to be our theta prime. So theta prime is equal to a pi minus theta. And if we were in quadrant 3, theta prime would be theta minus pi. And in quadrant 4, theta prime would be 2 pi minus theta. And we can put these in degrees too if you feel more comfortably. 180 is equal to, I'm sorry, theta prime is equal to 180 minus theta, or theta prime is equal to theta minus 180 degrees, or theta prime is equal to 360 minus theta.